Hey guys, sebchoof here. I wanted to make this small video for you because there's insane changes coming to Realm. They're reworking Rogue, and there's a lot of item and class balances coming, and a really cool event right now that I want to get into. First, let's talk about the Rogue rework because it's pretty crazy. Instead of invisible, Rogues will instead get this status effect called Sneak, where if you shoot while you're sneaked, you lose your invisibility. Now it's probably blowing your mind right now because that's the whole point of Rogue. You were always able to cheese the hell out of enemies by being permanently invisible and not getting shot at. Well, to balance this out, now Rogue gets another status effect when he comes out of invisibility, or sneak, called Lethal. And from the name alone, you can probably assume that this is some sort of damaging buff. Here's a clip of it happening. No one knows exactly what it is yet, but yeah, you can only assume that it does more damage. So I guess you still have the option to rush. Rogue might even be better for rushing. I'm not sure if sneak will be better than invisibility when it comes to not shooting. Maybe you can be invisible for longer, who knows? And maybe some UT cloaks will keep invisibility instead of sneak. Another bonus coming to Rogue is that if you're an older player, you probably remember that if you used to be invisible and you got quieted or silenced, you didn't lose it. Now you do, but they're actually reverting it back to when you didn't lose it. So rushing is going to be even easier, especially like the cult, where there's so much quiet. Now I love Rogue, and if you're a Rogue enjoyer like me, you're probably a bit concerned about these changes. I mean, anyone that's been playing Realm for a while hates change in general, I noticed. That's something I've been trying to change about myself. I'm always trying to keep an open mind about future changes, and I think this is actually good for the game. It's going to make the class a lot more interesting. Instead of just being a cheese class for solos, now it's going to deal more damage in groups, but also it's going to be really fun in solos. There's going to be a bit of a risk and return with going out of invisibility and getting the extra damage boost. It's just a bit of a shame because there's some items that are really cool to use while you're invisible with Rogue, like the F-Right dagger or the Corruption Cutter. Corruption Cutter is like the highest damage dagger, but it's so hard to hit enemies with it. You have to be right up close, which is why the Rogue invisibility helped a lot with that. And what the hell is going to happen to Monocle? Monocle has a attack boosting buff where while you're invisible, but when you shoot you lose invisibility straight away. So I wonder if that's getting changed, or we'll see. Are you guys nostalgic for Rogue? And what do you guys think about the changes? Another major change is coming for dagger classes, katana classes, summoner, priest, and samurai. They're all going to be buffed. They're not planned to be major changes like a rework like for the Rogue. The main purpose of the buffs is apparently to make the classes feel more balanced, so you don't feel like you're getting punished by picking something like the samurai, which, let's be real, is usually not very fun to use. I'm a bit concerned about changes like these because it seems like Deca always usually buffs classes. The problem with that is all of the dungeons that already exist in the game become easier. Some dungeons have already become too piss easy compared to what they used to be. Like, you probably won't believe this, but Lost Halls and Nest used to be an insane challenge at one point in the game. I would say both they were as challenging to defeat as hard mode Shatters is now. The previous version of Lost Halls is actually really interesting. You should check it out. Even Lost Halls 2.0 on release was a challenging endgame dungeon because the best in slot set for a paladin, for example, was a tier 13 sword, a tier 6 seal, like fiery dragon battle armor and a crown. Way different to now, way weaker. But I guess these classes won't feel as lame anymore. I felt like katanas were already good enough, but maybe not. Another crazy change is that they're planning to nerf Sorcerer. Finally, man. Sorcerer was for a long time the contender for best class in the game, and definitely a really strong beginner and middle class. I do think with the state of the game currently, there's like 8 other overpowered classes, but at least they're hitting the most overpowered one at the moment. Apparently they don't want to change the ability too much. They're planning to affect the damaging stats the most with the Sorcerer nerf. So it should still feel similar to play, but I think fairly slower. Sorcerer also got a massive indirect buff from how easy it is to clear the new realms with, compared to like a melee class. Because I have always said that Paladin is like as strong as Sorcerer in my opinion for endgame, but with the new realm rework, it's a bit cringe to use melees, except with one weapon, and that is the ST flail, the Fury flail, which, thank fuck, is getting nerfed. Holy shit, man, this item has already been nerfed once, this, and it still invalidates all other sword classes. Sorry, not classes, weapons. Melee weapons. What am I saying? If you watched my latest HPE, the night HPE, man, I got the ST flail so early, and it was a bit boring because I was planning to look for melee weapons that were fairly balanced, like really hard to get, but the power was matching. But I got really lucky and I got this within like 2,000 fame, because it is really cheap to craft, don't get me wrong. Anyone can craft it. The hardest part about crafting it is that you need to get an ST Master's chest, which drops from a dungeon as easy as the Puppet's Encore. And once you do get that, an 80 ST Forge and an ST weapon, you get a sword stronger than the engraved cutlass, which is just silly, man. Apparently they do plan to tinker with the current other swords as well, so we'll see how they all balance against each other later. I'm really excited to do more melee HPs in the future after this change, because going for just that one easy sword was kind of ZZZ. They're making some awesome changes to some dungeons as well. Like for example, Advanced Nest has a massive problem with leeching right now. It's really cringe, but what you can do is you can actually shoot the Nest boss a few times in the first phase and then leave the arena and then wait for it to be over. And not only do you get exalts, but you also get the loot as well. So that means everyone inside is risking their life doing one of the hardest dungeons in the game, and everyone outside is just chilling, and not only that, but they're HP scaling. Not sure exactly what they're going to do to fix the leeching problem, but they're probably going to make it that like there's a permanent, no, they couldn't do a permanent wall because people want to go to tea room after. They could make it that, this is an idea that I was having for a while, they could make the honey rise in like the 2 rooms before the boss instead of just the corridor. Also, I'm not sure if this is going to happen in the next update, but Playful Chase is probably going to get a bit of a nerf. Right now, another really lame thing is that if you're learning if you're playing with someone learning Umi, or if you're playing with a griefer, those 2 people are basically equal, because if you don't stand really close to Umi in the Playful Chase phase, she starts going crazy and running around mad, and yeah, it's probably the hardest phase in the game. And how the hell is a brand new player to this dungeon supposed to know that you're meant to stand close to Umi? So what the main dev proposed to do is cap the movement speed, even if there is players spread around the arena, just like in this video. Also, just yesterday they added a cool new event in the game. I mean, it's not new, the Remnant of the Void event. How this works is that much weaker versions of the Void spawn in the realm with the exact same loot, and you can get exalts from it. But yeah, it's much easier, 50% less damage and HP. You'd be surprised how easy it is to solo if you have a stacked character. So this is a really good way to get the mana exalts, other than Moonlight Village and doing voids normally. The only problem with doing these dungeons for exalts is that you will still have to do an NPC per mana exalt. And another great thing about it is void is generally really efficient when it comes to fame, so it's a good time to stack up on fame, especially because also there's a new really interesting crucible mode. The last one was a joke. You got like I think it was -5 speed and then -3 def plus 3 vit, I don't know, something lame like that, and not really any benefits. But this one's pretty interesting. When you get hit, there's a 20% chance you get drought, which is a negative status effect where you can't drink any potions, but you're also sickened for 3 seconds. So that's pretty damaging. But the benefit of this is that your health potions are increased by 200% effectiveness, MP potions are increased by 50% effectiveness, and the best part of this is you get 20% more XP and 20% more BXP. So this is a really good time if you're trying to beef up your pets by getting the fame from the crucible mode and the voids. Also, last thing, there's these cool shinies coming to the game, mostly from Oryx 3. I see one Shadows one, they're kinda cool. Don't really care about shinies, but I know a lot of you guys do, and all these changes will come into effect probably when the new season hits, so in 12 days of when I upload this video. What do you guys think about the changes? Make sure to comment down below. I love reading your comments. I'll reply to as many as I can. Also, drop a like please, only if you appreciate my videos. If you don't appreciate them, maybe drop a like as well. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm streaming every day for a while. I love you. Peace.